Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Kyle's Key Ingredient, and today we're going to be making some competition style chili. We're going to start out with a chuck roast and load it up with some Lea & Perrins, and then we're going to make sure that every little inch of that is covered before we go ahead and add our salt, pepper, and garlic blend. We're going to make sure that we get every inch of that thing coated with a nice thick coating, including all the sides. That's really important that we season kind of all that entire surface, because we are going to be smoking this thing for a long time and it does need some good seasoning. We're going to come back through with just some normal barbecue rub. This is just some stuff I had left over from a previous cook. You can kind of pick anything that you want here. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side there, making sure we get all those little cracks and crevices with a little bit of that Lea & Perrins. Come back with that salt, pepper, and garlic, and then finish off with a little bit of barbecue seasoning before we go ahead and get that thing in the smoker. Now this thing's going to be smoking for a pretty long time, 250 degrees for probably 3 or 4 hours. We are just looking to smoke the living heck out of this thing. This is going to be going into our chili, chopped up fairly thick, so we want to make sure we get a really good bark on it, and we're just going to go ahead and let that thing sit in there as we prep the rest of our chili ingredients. Now this is that smoked meat off to the left there. You can see it's got a pretty dark crust on the outside. We've got some guajillo chilies there, some chile pasilla, as well as, last but not least, our ancho chilies. Those are just beautiful. Next, we're going to be prepping our onions and peppers. We're going to go ahead and take a red and white onion here. Start by cutting off the end of our onion, cut it right in half, and then start to dicing. We're looking for a fairly thin dice here. It's going to hold up a little bit, but it doesn't need to be giant pieces. Same thing here with our white onion. We're going to cut the base off, go ahead and cut that thing right in half, and commence to dicing it up fairly thin. We're going to be using that whole onion as well. Next up, we're going to be cutting our jalapeno chilies here. I'm going to slice the top off, then slice them in half, and I'm going to go in with that knife and kind of cut that little vein at the base and pull out those guts. This is pretty easy. This is an easy way to kind of pop out those seeds and whatnot, and just get these things prepped and ready for that pot. We're going to slice them in half, and then we are going to go right ahead and dice those things up and get those ready for our chili as well. And as I chop the rest of these chilies up, I wanted to take a few moments to talk to you a bit about Compass Concierge program. You're thinking about selling your home in the near future, but still feel like you need to update your bathroom, redo your kitchen, or even replace old worn out carpeting in order to do so? Compass Concierge allows you to complete these projects with no money out of pocket until the deal is done. If you want to know more, please call me. Now let's go ahead and get back to the show. So our next step here is to go ahead and chop up our chilies. We're going to go ahead and cut off the tops and split them open just so we can get all of those little seeds out. Now, if you come to one like this and you chop the top off, it's a little tacky and you're having a hard time getting those seeds, just go ahead and take the side of your knife and scrape those seeds off until everything is out of there. Next up, we're going to go ahead and toast those chilies. We're going to put them in a dry saute pan over low heat, and we're just going to toast these things off until they start to kind of change color and consistency a little bit. You'll see little dark spots start to show up, and on some of the dark ones you'll actually see things turn a little bit more bright red color. This is what we're looking for, and they're also going to smell absolutely beautiful. To those toasted chilies, we're going to add some boiling water for about 20 to 30 minutes to let them rehydrate a bit for easier blending. And while I pour this beautiful boiling El Dorado spring water, not a sponsor, on our spicy smoky chilies, I wanted to talk to you a bit about another spicy deal, the Compass Private Exclusive Network. What is Compass Private Exclusive, you might ask? Well, it's a catalog of privately listed properties that are only available to Compass agents and their clients. This means there's hundreds of homes that are about to hit the public market but are only available to myself, my clients, and other Compass agents before they go to public. This means you won't find them on Redfin, Zillow, Homes.com, or any other public website or from any other agent who has access to the MLS. Only myself and Compass agents can see them. Many of these homes are sold before they ever see the public eye, so ask about them before you lose the chance on your dream home. Now, let's get back to the video. Next, we're going to be making the base to our chili. So we're going to take those peppers that have been steeping and drain all those bitter juices away and put just the peppers that we roasted into the blender, along with a full can of chipotle peppers. We're also going to take that can, add a little bit of water, and then add the juice to that can as well. On top of that, I'm going to add a whole can of homemade tomatoes. These are made by my grandmother, canned stewed tomatoes with the juice and all, along with a half a dozen garlic cloves smashed and cut in half. And then we're going to go ahead and blend that up really nicely until it is a smooth, pasty consistency. So again, everything is incorporated together here. We have a nice, beautiful paste that's going to be the base of our chili. I'll go ahead and take a look at that really thick consistency, nice and glossy. This is going to be great. Next step is we're going to take that chuck and we're going to go ahead and chop it up and set it aside. We're going to need to cut this into semi-bite-sized pieces here. These are going to be pretty big. They will reduce a little bit in size in that mixture when we get them in with the rest of the chili. As you can see here, you got a really, really thick pink smoke ring. This is what we're looking for here. Just texture, meaty flavor, and additional smoke. You can take some of those bigger, wider pieces, cut them down into quarters so that they're all bite-sized individual pieces. Next, we're going to be browning off our meat. So we've got 2 pounds of ground beef that we're going to brown off here. Start with a little bit of oil. Go ahead and get our raw meat in there, and then we're going to break it up with this wonderful little tool that I inherited from my late mother. Thank you, Mom. It's really great for sort of breaking up that meat into smaller pieces and kind of getting that big piece into something more manageable. Next, we're going to add a little bit of fresh ground kosher sea salt as well as some fresh ground black pepper to that mixture. Not too much here. We'll get some seasoning later on and continue to brown that, stirring it occasionally, letting that fat sort of break down and render out. And then we're going to go ahead and continue to stir that until it is completely browned. Then we're going to take that mixture, we're going to discard it over top of a mesh and drain the fat from it, and we're going to go in with our next pound of ground beef here. Now we don't want that pan too crowded, that's why we didn't want to put both pans in right away. Same steps here, break everything up, get it brown until it's all nice and beautiful, and remove it. Next, we're going to return some of that fat that we have strained off from our beef, put it back in our pot while it's still warm, and then we're going to work on sauteing up some of our vegetables. Into the pan over medium heat, we're going to add our red onion, white onion, and diced up jalapenos into the mixture. We're going to go ahead and stir them around and incorporate them into the fat, and then add some salt and pepper to the mixture as well to get them sauteed out. Now we're going to continue to sweat that down until it's just a little bit cooked. You can see here it sort of changes color. It's not too dark, but then we're going to go ahead and add our meat right back into the container along with all of our pieces of that beautifully smoked chucks that we've got going on there. Next, we're going to put in our chili base on top of that, followed by our beef stock. So I'm going to use a little trick here and use that beef stock to actually pull some of that paste out of that container there instead of having to worry about scraping and getting every little bit of that goodness out of there. I'm going to use that broth to sort of loosen that from the blender and pour that in, and then pour the rest of that beef broth in on top. And we've got the base of our chili all rocking here. We're going to stir that together to kind of incorporate things. As you can see, the heat's up a little bit. We want to get this to, not a rolling boil or anything like that, just well incorporated, well stirred, so all the meat is in those juices. Everything's kind of homogeneously and evenly mixed. Go ahead and bend over, give it a good smell. Man, it smells good at this point. And then next, we're going to be adding our dry seasonings. To the container, we're going to add 2 full tablespoons of garlic powder, followed closely behind with 2 large scoops of onion powder as well. Next up, we're going to be adding in some smoked paprika, another dry seasoning to this as well. Full tablespoon of that on top. Followed lastly by a full tablespoon of ancho chipotle powder. Now you can use regular chili powder here, but I really like the ancho. Next up is some black pepper. Now you can see here that we added half of that tablespoon of black pepper, and you're going to see why here in a second. Then next, to finish it off, we're going to add a full can, a tall can of beer here. I added a Mexican lager as a really good complement to all these sort of flavors. And this is why we're not using all that black pepper. So we're going to take some whole black pepper, add some cumin to it, and we're going to go ahead and toast it. This is going to open up that flavor, sort of plume that cumin and black pepper, and we're going to toast it until you see this here where it's sort of darkened a little bit and those seeds, the cumin seeds and black pepper, kind of popping around. This means it's done. Next up, we're going to add a handful of Mexican oregano to the mix, and we're going to blend with the mortar and pestle until we get ourselves a really, really fine, evenly mixed powder. And we're going to add this after this has been on the smoker for about 2 hours. So this is what it's going to look like after a couple hours. Bubbly, looking really good. So we're going to then add that final spice mixture to the mix, those aromatics at the very end. Not too early so we don't get those plumed out, right at the end there. And then finally, we're going to add our dark chocolate. This is a high cacao mix. I'm adding this at the very end, kind of spreading it around a little bit, and then go ahead and giving it a good mix. And that is pretty much it. We've got everything in here. I'm going to allow this to smoke for 4 to 6 hours. It can smoke for. The longer you can wait, the more smoke is going to enhance that flavor. Make a little film on top, just scrape that off, no worries at all. And this is the final product. This This is our competition chili. It's got the mix of those 2 different kinds of meats. It's rich, it's meaty, it's packed with flavor, it's spicy, and man, is it good. It did really well at our competition, and we're really proud of it.